Hi everyone, I'm Celeste, your host for the 31 Days of Halloween. Now here's another tutorial for you to help embellish your Halloween decor or your costume or just your everyday life. That's what I'm talking about. We are going to be making black roses. Now last year in my wedding videos, I actually showed you how I made my bouquet and my boutonnieres, but I didn't actually show you a really in-depth tutorial on how I made the rosebuds. In this rosebud, I will be showing you, but it's all black, so it's kind of hard to tell that this is a rose. If you know it's a rose, leave a thumbs up, and if you can't see a rose, leave a comment, and I'll work on it. If you have any questions about this tutorial, make sure to leave a comment down below on explaining it, but I hope that this tutorial is fully explanatory. If you haven't seen some of my other YouTube videos on the 31 Days of Halloween, up in the cards will be a YouTube playlist link, or just subscribe to my channel. That'll be so much faster and easier, and you'll get the notifications if you just click that little bell icon. Haha! Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this simple, easy tutorial for your Halloween needs. Because who doesn't need black roses during the month of October? I wonder, can you hear my dog? To start this project, I am using scrap black fabric. This fabric is stretched taffeta. I have a lot of odd bits and ends, and this project is a great way to use them instead of going into the trash. You can opt to use ribbon, which would eliminate the step, but if you're using fabric, follow this step. Cut the fabric into a clean shape so the piece is even. You could use a square or a rectangle depending on the fabric that you have. Cut the fabric, square or rectangle that you now have, into strips. The wider the strips, the bigger the rose petals are going to be. You definitely want a lot of strips of fabric if you want a big flower. If you want more of a bud than a full rose, only use a few strips of fabric. You can lay your fabric pieces on top of each other to see if they're the same width, and if you're happy with it, you can continue forward. If not, go ahead and cut off the pieces that do not match the other ones. Take the corner of the strip and fold it inward, creating a triangle. Secure this down with a pin. At the peak, fold over the fabric to create a matching triangle inward. Secure this down with a pin. This is actually going to be part of your base of your petals. Go ahead and cut off the rest of the excess. Repeat this process until you have tons and tons of these little triangles made of triangles. Now that you have this triangle, we are going to fold the outer corners inwards and sew it all together. You want to bring the corners in to make kind of like a house drawing when you were a kid. Make sure all the folds are on one side. If you don't want to sew it together, you can use some glue and secure it down. I used hot glue on my flowers from last year, but I find sewing them into place is so much more cost-effective than gluing. If you don't know how to sew, then glue is the best option for you. You can use fabric tack, hot glue, and something like E6000, but make sure to have clips to hold them in place. Repeat this step to all the triangles that you previously made. This part is slightly optional, but I do recommend it. Take a flame to the tips of your house triangles and burn it slightly. While it's hot, bend the house into a curved shape. This is going to give more that petal dimension shape and feel versus just being a stand-up, tall, flower, starched petal. Do this to all your triangle houses. I don't know what else to call these things, so I'm just going to call them triangle houses because that's what they look like. Your petals should be starting to take shape. Start rearranging your petals to smallest to biggest, and lay them in a line in front of you. We are going to start with the smallest one and begin turning all these petals in a chain. The smallest starts first through the sewing machine, and then the next size lays on top of the right side of the house. And then continue sewing and placing the next size after that. It goes in order, and the flower petal will always go on top of the previous flower petal at the right. Now, if you're gluing this, you can actually just glue this on top of one another and not have to sew everything down. I just like sewing it because it saves glue and I don't burn my fingers. The last two final steps are nigh! So, we need to roll it and secure it. Start at that first side that you started sewing or securing down those points at, and start rolling it inward, creating a cinnamon bun spiral. You want to make sure that the folds are on the outside and the smooth parts are on the inside. This is what's going to really define your rose. Feel free to practice rolling it into shape before securing it as a rose. When you're happy with the rose shape, you can sew all the bottom edges or unroll and re-roll whilst adding glue at the same time. And ta-da! This is a rose. Now this rosebud tutorial I've seen all the time on Pinterest. This is not mine. I'm just going to help show you guys how I did it and use it because a lot of people use glue. You can, but I like to sew it so it's more secure. If you have any questions, like I said earlier in this video, leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you're new here and if you are enjoying the 31 days of Halloween. I work my butt off for these videos. I hope you enjoy them because you might be part of the 97% that's not subscribed to my channel. But that's fine. It's okay. It'll just burn in a fire. Anyways, go ahead and check out some of the other videos for the 31 days of Halloween, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay spooky, and I will see what I can come up with next.